Sometimes in the pursuit of improvement, we forget why we started running in the first place. Too often we get caught up in training plans, race goals, and improving our performance. But what if the key to becoming a better runner is simply learning to enjoy the process? My guest today is the amazing Robbie Rorich, a trail runner, movement enthusiast, and an adventure athlete who approaches running with curiosity, play, and a deep connection to nature. Whether he is exploring technical trails, climbing, or embracing multi-sport adventures, Robbie brings a unique perspective that goes beyond competition. He's here to remind us that running isn't just about racing, it's about experiencing the trails with joy, creativity, and a spirit of exploration. Robbie, welcome back to the Trail Chasers.
Thanks, Dean.
How are things going?
Yeah, happy to be here. Good timing.
So get me started, when you're on that kind of start line of a race, what is going through your mind? What are you doing? Tell me about that kind of process.
Yeah, the start line of a race is an amazing feeling. Everyone is feeling so much, and you stand so close as well. Yeah, it's super powerful. I think one cool thing is just to remember that it's that brief moment, and that's like in that moment with everyone around you, you can still feel yourself and feel present, and it's actually okay to feel like what you're feeling. Yeah. You don't have to feel what everyone else is feeling, because there can be so much hype and tension, and then everyone runs really fast at the beginning. Like you don't have to do that. And it works really well to just stand a little bit further back than you think you're going to finish, in the field, almost like self-seed negatively. And that feels good for me. It makes you like take yourself a bit less seriously, relax, So if you think you're going to win, stand in the third row. If you think you're going to come in the middle, stand at the back. Yeah, it's a nice. That's what I like to do.
Everyone get themselves hyped up and let them have that pressure.
Yeah, and then hopefully people get less hyped up.
So this season is sponsored by Gilnockie Socks. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put you on the spot now, but I'm going to allow you to think through the episode of the 2 words that you'd like on the back of your sock if you had a pair of socks. So think about it, and we'll come back to it at the end. And I don't want to get too introspective or thinking too deep, but what have been the 5 most pivotal moments of your life?
My life.
Of your life, or your I
never get too deep.
Your trail running journey. Let's not get too deep.
One that comes to mind for sure is running in Namibia, out pretty far away from anyone or anything, like in the mountains there, just in some sandals and I think just shorts, in the evening, getting back after dark. I think I went to the top of that mountain, and I guess it gets deep, but it has to do with running, looking out and feeling unbelievable. You just run, just run across valleys and canyons to get there, and looking at this beauty of the sunset, and then closing my eyes and realizing that there's nothing outside that is actually more beautiful than what's inside. And I really understood it. I didn't even ask that question. That was profound, to really get that into my body. Like, oh my God, like this also, we don't have to chase stuff on the outside to feel beautiful things. That was huge. Other ones, I guess, what I can think of is maybe first time going in Jonkershoek, hiking out the rim and looking down the Berg River Valley on the panorama route. Super, super powerful. I don't know what it did, but I think it's just made me realize, my God, we all live in the most beautiful place, and we are free to come to these places, which I guess is very powerful. Looking down those gorges with those incredible sides and the way the light hits them and the rivers run, and been a few times since there just to spend hours there. Definitely as a child, racing at school, around the field, track into house, so very small, like not competitive, but very hyped up in terms of just like giving it your everything, as like a 12-year-old running as fast as you can around the field in your colored t-shirts. If you were to win the Olympics, I'm not sure if it would specifically feel better than being a school child doing a race.
Especially in that moment when you're that age, it's like there's nothing better.
Yeah. So I think that's a big lesson as well to learn. Like as a child, we really do have some amazing experiences that we can almost re-enter, and like we don't have to go too far away from that. I guess more recently, like running the long races, like last year running in Chamonix at one of the UTMB events for 2 days to finish the TDS. That was massive, really, really massive. After cycling for 3 months from my mom's farm to Angola and then flying out to France. By the end of that race, I was just seeing what the mountain was doing for us and what the rivers were doing for us, and they were just sending different patterns and shapes, and they were doing that to all of us there, and it was amazing for me to actually see it. You know, you can feel it. I think so that's a big one for sure. A big moment or moments, you know, to run in those big mountains, 2 nights and 2 days, and then you just like cracked open, but in a beautiful way.
That's good. And you got a few kind of titles. If you had like a business card and, you know, under your name, what would be written there?
I mean, I did make a business card with a friend, and under my name it had my wrong cell phone number. That's as far as I got on a business card. I don't know. On Instagram, I think it says mountain love or sculpture love and mountain running, something like that.
Amazing.
I guess that's as close as I have, yeah.
What is it about trail running that kind of brings you so much joy?
I think for me, it's using my body so deep, like going as deep as I possibly can, like running up a hill, down a hill, in the physical effort. It's like my whole being is arriving, and it's super powerful you feel yourself, to feel myself, and then to do it in nature. I think the mountains facilitate that like tenfold. I really feel that. Like I even already said, like running on the rocks, it's so powerful what the rocks already are themselves, and then you can be yourself, and it's like infinite. There's no ceiling to how hard you can try, especially when we run further and further, because it just never ends.
You can just run for days. Have you ever lost that joy, and how did you kind of deal with that?
I think a big time, it's such a big psychological difficulty with getting sponsored and being paid to run. It took so long, like 2 years, to just find joy again.
Sure.
I had a lot of joy, but less. I was running to train, and my body hurt, but I would still run because I felt like I needed to. It was super powerful to let that go and almost like acknowledge that I can still run even if I'm not being paid.
And I think we did touch on this in the last interview, but maybe we can go through it again. Is when did you kind of first discover trail running, you know, and what was that kind of initial spark for you?
When we were children, we'd go to our granddad's farm and just run in the mountains and walk, and yeah, it was super like a completely natural experience. But my first race was, I think I was 21 years old, a race in Jonkershoek. My sister did it the year before, and she said her friend organized, and I joined. So it was super amazing to realize that there's a lot of people that do this. We spoke about that it's a thing. Hundreds and thousands of people want to do this thing in the mountains that feels so good.
And you mentioned earlier about Jonkershoek. Was that experience particularly powerful because it was kind of your first race?
That was actually separate, funnily enough. That time in Jonkershoek, we were just hiking and just experiencing the mountains, 3 of us. And the race, it was super powerful. I cycled there from my mom's, where she farms, for 4 days. Like, it was like almost 900 Ks. It was crazy. And I don't think I've had as much energy even since then. I think the race pulled me in. It was like, the race is on Friday and you've left on whatever, Tuesday.
Yeah. I don't know how you do that.
So that was massive.
And, you know, I want to say, like, what is, you know, sets trail running apart from other types of running, but maybe even what kind of sets it apart from cycling or kind of the other sports that you kind of do?
I guess it's not hugely different from mountain biking in some ways, because you're getting deep into the mountains. I think it's a lot safer than cycling. I think they go together so well, though. I think it's so healthy for me, for sure, to do both. I think we like keeping joy in running and having diversity is massive.
And do you do a lot of road running?
I think I would, but it hurts. I really get quite sore.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got a unique approach to your running, and that's obviously why we're here today to talk about it. But How has that evolved over the years, your mindset, but also your kind of approach, running, racing, things like that?
Kind of when I started racing, wasn't really questioning too much, and that was really brilliant. And I feel like I've maybe arrived there again, but in the middle was a hump or a dip of questioning, of identifying the unhealthy parts of competition within myself, and then questioning if there's any health in competition. Finally letting that go and being like, no, well, actually, if I stop thinking, there is a really pure way to race. So yeah, I think it's made like a little speed bump. And I don't know what's going to happen now, but it feels really good now. Yeah.
Is racing still on the agenda, or was it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's just approaching it differently.
Yeah, and kind of a little bit like I used to, just with enthusiasm. And it's like, oh my God, like we get to go into these mountains and race. And what an amazing thing that we can all do this together. And like actually genuinely losing the concept of wanting to win, which I think for a lot of people, very few people want to win. But for people who want to win, it's like the serious thing we have inside us.
I don't know what that feels like, but I'll take your word for it. Obviously, when you're running in these kind of beautiful spaces, how do you kind of balance between stopping to kind of take in the view and have that experience versus, just pushing kind of through, especially in like a race?
For me, like when I really feel it, really like feeling the flow and feeling you're working hard, and then you kind of like going up that mountain and knowing what's inside is as good as what's outside. Then I feel I don't often need to look at the view. But then from that moment, almost without deciding, sometimes you just stop and you just like you take it in. But for me, sometimes I feel like I must stop and take it in. And it's almost like in those moments I haven't quite reached that flow state. And you're trying to take something in, but you can't because you're not there. So for me, it's almost like you arrive inside yourself, and then the stopping becomes natural if it comes at all.
Do you find when you're kind of racing that you're able to take in the surroundings?
In a different way, for sure. I mean, I hiked the Otter Trail, I think, after running it 3 times, and honestly, I didn't even know there were flowers on the trail until hiking it.
Yeah, it's a different experience. When we're talking about joy, I think one of the things that I guess a lot of people struggle with is kind of the training and the process. Race is obviously the kind of culmination, and that's kind of the fun bit. How do you kind of bring joy into your kind of training and make sure that the process is as fun as the race?
Yes, I think for me it's huge to run for today. Like even now, like I run or swim or cycle or meditate because I would love to feel whole today, and I love to feel peace today. And as soon as I train for tomorrow or 3 months' time for the race, I can't handle that pressure. And then it doesn't help actually. So for me, having a day by day. So like when I was studying, I couldn't have passed without running to make my mind clear. So that was, I think, part of the dip is after studying, not having a specific reason to run, because it didn't have a need in my life to have a clear mind or a clear heart maybe. And now realizing I still don't have that need, but I want to have a clear mind. It feels nice today. Yeah, that's huge for me.
I love that. I love that because so often we kind of forget that, that it's not always about like big goals. It's you've got to get through the day and live in the moment.
Yeah.
And how do you kind of bring that sort of sense of curiosity and playfulness into your running? Especially when racing and it's super serious, as you say, with the sponsorship and people expecting things from you.
I mean, all of us have our things in our life that they hurt us or they glitch us a bit, and to like see them and feel them and then let them move through us. So all these challenges that I speak about, for other people, they're not challenges, and we all have our challenges. And I think running is just such a wonderful way to let them flow through us and to feel them and then let them leave in their own way through feeling them. So I guess keeping joy. I mean, I think it seems funny, but for me, running is the joy.
It's an interesting concept. And it seems so obvious, but it's, I think it is something that people kind of struggle with. And do you have any kind of specific techniques to get you out of that, those dark moments or those ruts, other than going for a run?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think speaking to my partner, Nat, she understands so clearly how to do that. She's teaching me how to just be a normal person about feeling our feelings and actually moving through things without going running. Yeah. I guess through talking and then learning how to connect our voice and our hearts, like a holistic feeling, and then the expression and release.
And do you kind of distinguish between different types of runs, based on, obviously if it's a race, but also if you're like just running, do you kind of make that distinction, or is it just kind of let's go and go and run?
I think before a run, I don't really have an idea, but on the run, it becomes clear. Yeah, I mean, like the other day, I think I lay under Protea for half an hour, but that's exactly what I needed, but I didn't know that before the run.
That's amazing.
And I think that's actually very important, is just to leave the house and, you're in for something. And then those days when you have full energy, or for me, just run hard for as long as you can. And then the days when you don't have energy, to just sit.
I've had over the kind of the course of, doing this podcast, I think one of the advice often that people kind of give to newcomers or beginners is not to focus on the pace and the distance. And so how do you, obviously with like modern technology and all of that, it's all around you. How do you kind of remove those distractions, and kind of emphasize the importance of it?
I think for me, I don't have a running watch, or I don't often use one. Nat has a lovely one that I've used sometimes, which is fun. We did sky runs and you need your watch to guide yourself. Yeah. But in normal runs, I just don't run with a watch. And that, I think, cuts it out quite quickly. Yeah. There are no numbers, then there's just the path and the trees. And
yeah, that's such an interesting one as well, because it's especially as like a newcomer coming to the sport, it's like, I don't want to get lost, so I need a watch. But then it's like, as you're saying with like Skyrun, it's like I don't want to wear a watch, but it's become like, necessary. Yeah. It's almost like, let's go back to like maps.
Yeah, maps are fun. And getting lost is okay.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful to just go into the mountain and you just follow which way you want to go. Mm. Yeah.
And how important is that kind of, the why? Why do you kind of run and bring yourself back to kind of that reason?
I guess it's important. Yeah, I think for sure it's, for me, it feels like a fundamental part of being alive is to run, or at least to exercise very hard. But running seems to be the best one. I guess if you find that, then you just almost need to remember that in moments where you might forget it. Yeah. Remember how blissful running makes you.
Yeah. And I think also like if it's not fun or you don't have that love for it, then it's kind of
it's not for
question.
You. Yeah.
Or it's not for you, or it's to question, are you pushing too hard, or it's just not for you? Do you ever in races kind of just stop and take it all in, or is it full send from beginning to end?
I think it depends. To be honest, I think I would say no. I never take breaks in races, but I think it's not true. I think I do, kind of by mistake. Like, let's say if I just remember like running a mountain with poles, and then I stopped on top and folded them neatly and put them in, and it probably took 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then I ran as fast as I could, after that. So I think I do stop, not often. Yeah.
And when you're kind of training and I guess running by yourself, is that a frequent, kind of you're stopping, or is it, especially in the training runs and things like that, where, you're trying to test yourself and trying to improve?
I think for sure I used to never stop. I would run as hard as I could, and I think it was beautiful that I did that. So I'd like to, and I think I'm a bit more like that as well now. Like you just run super hard.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you can turn around a corner or do something, maybe reach a peak and spend like 10 seconds there, and you had like a psychological break, and it's sort of very psychological, the stopping concept. Sometimes you just stop thinking, or you think about a new thing, and then it feels like you've just started running. So for sure, sometimes I catch myself and it's been like an hour and I haven't stopped, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah.
It's all about being in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
How have you kind of maintained your love and enthusiasm? Is it just kind of natural, again, that the opposite is worse type thing? Or is there kind of, something that you've done to kind of keep that flame alive?
I don't think I've on the outside, maybe it looks like I do a lot, but from the inside, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And I guess also in for all of us, we have like some paths just feel easy. It's almost like before we were born, our souls are like, okay, this is going to be easy and this is going to be a challenge. And for me, my soul was like running in the mountains is going to be easy. And I always, wherever I go, I find trails are almost always there. You know, it's like it's in flow, like you would say, because I don't seem to have any psychological blocks to just running. So it feels very easy. And I think that's super amazing. And for all things we do can feel super easy, even though we are actually taking very practical steps, like packing your shoes and bringing water and a hat and sun cream and just getting out the door and letting your friends know that you might be running and not spending time with them. All those things happen, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like, for me, it doesn't feel like I'm doing them.
And has that allowed you to kind of learn lessons that you've applied to the kind of more challenging parts of your life?
I think so. Sure, yeah. I can't think.
No, you don't have to think too hard again. We're not thinking too hard.
No, exactly, Dean. No, there's a lot. Everything we do has parallels. Yeah. No, definitely. Like, if I am to imagine, like now we're talking and it's amazing that we're talking and sharing things. You've got me here because I'm good at running. No one says I'm good at talking, right? Yeah. But I know that feeling of flow from the mountain, and I know I can get it through here too, even with singing. So for sure, learning to sing and talk and express through my voice is massive learning from running, yeah.
That's incredible. That's like so disconnected, but so like connected. What role does community kind of play in this whole journey?
As humans, like community is, for most of us, I don't know, it just seems it's like, why are we here? You know, it's almost like in some ways super easy to achieve complete expansion into the universe as an individual, because the universe is one, but then now there's more than one of us in this room, and all of a sudden is a whole new layer. But if you and I expand together through all of our sharing ideas, it's so much more powerful. It's like not times two more powerful. And then when you're running together, it builds. So I think everyone speaks about the Cape Town running community. They love it from all over the world. And for me, I love to run alone. So I'm not deeply involved in that, but what I can really speak of is the community running in Iten in Kenya, the marathon runners. And that's crazy. Like, the way I understand those people are good at running is because they run together. And every time one person does one little psychological or physiological thing to be faster, it's just like that shared with the group. No one's talking, everyone's just running, and they're serious and they're listening with their whole beings on we're running. And that's massive. That's how everything, I think, can exponentially expand. So that kind of community aspect. I mean, I joined the trail dogs for the first time the other day. Amazing. It was fun just to see everyone on the mountain, and then you can feel like joy. There's like, oh, that person is feeling joy on the uphill. My God, okay, maybe I can too. You know,
I love that.
And that person's feeling joy even though they twisted their ankle. Oh, me too. You know, so it's huge what we could do for each other.
How do you kind of balance that, I guess, when you're, especially in like races and stuff, you know, that wanting to be alone and you know, being within yourself, but also there's thousands of people like around you.
Yes, that's been super amazing. I think for all of us, but for me, for sure, to just stop feeling other people's emotions as if they're mine. And racing is such a strong way because there's strong emotions and strong, apparently contrasting, what do you call it, like motives. Like, I want to win, no, I want to win, I want to win. And then to really let that go and to become, in some sense, nothing. So, and you can feel it when you get it right. You stop feeling the other people on the trail in a sense that jars you, and you start feeling like their soul. And you run as your soul with all the other souls around you. And that's crazy because our souls are just lifting each other the whole time. Yeah.
How do you kind of maintain, you know, the running alongside the, you know, the adventures? You've touched on it a little bit, but is it kind of they bring different things and you feel different things at different times? Yeah, how do you kind of keep that in balance?
I think I want to say like I don't maintain the running with the adventures. And that's been a really big lesson, is going super hard into like 6-day adventure races and then trying to run a race, and you can't. Or you can, but it's very difficult to be competitive. And then speaking to wonderful other professional trail runners, and they just flat out say, no, I cannot do that adventure because now I am a trail runner and I'm doing my best. And it's been so beautiful to be inspired by them. And I feel I'd like to make that choice now to race and maybe have smaller, big adventures. But I can feel my whole being at some point, I'll almost like release myself into the big adventures, but to not push it. Yeah, let it happen.
You know, what is the kind of long distance cycling? What does that do for you?
Oh, it does a lot, hey? I think because you spend so many hours just moving your body and seeing, moving, and you can talk or sing or music, but it's a little bit like doing an easy or a fun kind of Vipassana. You just cycle for hours and then you eat your lunch, and it's the best thing you've ever done because you're eating lunch and you're hungry, and then it's the best thing ever to find a campsite. Life becomes very, 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 very simple. So simple for I think anyone who goes cycle touring, they come back to a city or a normal life or a job and you get depressed because why is it so hard? But I think slowly for me, even now, it's the first time in my whole adult life, since arriving back a few months ago from Angola and the run in France, to actually be happy to be here.
Sure.
And it's that feeling of going on top of the mountain and knowing inside is as good as outside. It's good. It can be, and it is as good in my body as it is on top of a hill in Guatemala or on top of a mountain in New Zealand, you know, and that's been huge for me to feel peace in stillness. So it's almost like we take ourselves on the adventures until we realize we don't need the adventures outside, we have them on the inside.
Yeah, that's definitely a change from the last time we chatted. What kind of prompted that? What was there a moment, or has it just been like years of kind of experience?
I mean, I think all our years stack up to the moments. And I mean, I understand the moments, like the way the planets are and how the moon is and the stars, they almost facilitate these energetic pushs like that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. But there was for sure a moment like now on our cycle in the north of Namibia. This man called Noah, a Rasta guy driving bales of hay, gave us some really strong marijuana to smoke. And I don't smoke a lot. It's our friend's birthday, so we three of us like said a little prayer, smoked the joint together, and my consciousness just went.
Yeah,
it was super crazy, and I had no idea the implications of that. I had no idea how to change my life, but it's completely changed my life. But it's not one moment, it's my whole life praying to be open and to be free and to know myself and to know freedom and to not carry stuff. And like, yeah, that was it. Then pretty much after that, a few weeks after that, I decided to leave the cycle. My friends carried on. It was like wild for me to say, no guys, I'm going back home.
Sure.
But I could feel my whole heart, like that something in my, almost as if something in my chemistry, my biology changed and said, no, like we don't have to do this adventure stuff. We don't have to push it. We're free already.
Sure.
So I've been making different art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super exciting. It's so exciting, Dean. Yeah. Patterns with watercolor.
Wow.
It's so powerful and so easy and light compared to sculpting. And then
so painting
watercolors, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so what also has been happening, so Nats is she writes and she's been drawing, and now we're going to exhibit together.
Oh, wow.
And then we've been making art together on the same page. So she's been drawing massive trees and I've been making spirals inside them. And I feel, for me, it's a profound new step into being a human, like you say, with community. Instead of me being an artist or me being a runner, it's the two of us. And it's like we come from, like we speak about it, we come from different planets and now we're here. our souls know each other, but we express in different ways, and we're expressing art together. So I'm very excited. Anyone who's listening to this podcast, like, look at our Instagram or my Instagram, and you'll see some of this art. And we're going to exhibit it soon as well.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The feeling is crazy. I've known that I'd have this my whole life, and now I have it.
Yeah. I guess going back to, do you have any like longing for the cycle, longing for the sculpting? Like, are you just in a place now where it's all like so comfortable, or is there still that, that feeling of there's something missing?
The feeling is there, but it's very small. Okay. Yeah, but for sure it's there, but it's like you can zoom in and then make it clear and bigger, and zoom in and make it clear and bigger, and then you're looking around and it's actually all quite far, and it's actually all of a sudden quite light. But I think I've been scared of zooming into those pain points, and now I feel strong to do that. So mostly, I would say right now I feel in really incredible flow. Yeah.
Where do you have kind of a particular moment where you kind of felt the most joyful on the trails?
I think, Dean, almost every time I run, even on the roads, but definitely on the trails, like, my body lights up. Like, even now talking about it, like, I have no idea. I'm sure we'll get photographs of this kind of a thing one day, but it's like tingles here, and then they'll stay. And for a long time they would come, and I would just feel it, and then it would go. And that, we're speaking about like having a good day. For me to go on the mountain and have that experience of, it's almost like being unlimited, being completely empowered, completely capable, infinitely capable. That's it. Feeling infinitely capable for a few moments on the mountain. You can go about your day with resonance of that infinite capacity that we all have. And then more recently, getting more interested in holding that state. And you don't hold it, you allow it. But it's just, for me, you're just feeling my feet on the ground. And it's so simple. But every time I run, I just actually feel my feet on the ground. And then that bliss comes. And it doesn't have to go. As long as I'm capable to just feel my feet on the ground, And it's very interesting, because after a few minutes, sometimes you start thinking about other random stuff, and the bliss goes away. Yeah.
How do you bring it back?
Again, the first thing you realize it's gone. You realize you're thinking about other stuff, and you realize you're not in bliss, because when you're not in bliss, you don't question where you are often. And then something happens, like a sunbird comes, and then you realize, oh, okay, I wasn't present. And then you just feel your feet again, and it comes back straight away. And it's so strong, and it's so clear, and it also takes away so many paradigms of needing to be strong to run. You realize you just need to have your foot on the ground. That's all we need. And then you see the next place, and you put your foot on the next place, and it has nothing and it's like, I really understand it to be this way. It has nothing to do with how strong we are. It just has to do with our capacity to just feel the next place on the earth with our foot. And your body will move there. Like, we're designed to do that. We don't have to think about how we do that.
I guess when you're starting out running, it's always like exciting and you're loving it. And then inevitably you hit that kind of slump, or like, okay, I'm not loving this anymore. Is there advice around how you regain that? Or, is it kind of, maybe this is not for you?
I guess it comes down to your, almost, if you say, personality type. And if we might think that if you get to that slump and you just change it and choose a new hobby each time, there's like something wrong with you. And maybe there is. Maybe we all do need to learn how to stick with one thing. For me, I think an amazing advice is just to talk about it, and not to even running friends. I think chances are, if you happen to be able to talk about that with any friend, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm also in a slump. And you can kind of be like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. And you can almost just be in that slump and then move through it together. And your friend might be in a slump might be a designer, and they don't know what to do. And then one of you almost does like one thread out of that slump, and you almost ride that wave together. And if you don't have too much emotional attachment to their designs because you're thinking about running, but you feel their emotions, it like applies to your running, You know what I mean? Yeah. So we like bring each other out if where we want to go is out, but maybe also we bring each other into that slump. Why am I in a slump? You go so deep that you come out another place that you didn't even know existed, and then that slump can't get you again.
I love that also. It's like, why am I in that slump? And then you kind of realize maybe it's not even connected to the running, to interrogate that. And looking back, is there kind of one challenge, adventure, or like a race that you kind of recommend to everyone that they have to do?
Yeah, I thought a bit about that, Dean. The one of the best things I've ever done, and I think everyone who's ever done it, it's in a reserve outside Cape Town called Suicide Gorge. You can't recommend it to everyone because you jump off these massive rocks. It's kloofing.
Yeah.
But if you like kloofing, it's I guess any kloofing, but Suicide Gorge is it's unbelievable. It's very changing. But I think that's it. The whole planet is filled with beautiful mountains, and I think the only thing I could recommend to everyone is to go deep in there. And if you can, like for days, and if you can, one full day, and like
be outside,
and feel and drink the fresh water and learn, just experience the depth of the mountains, what they have.
Do you have any kind of post-race, like after winning or after having a great run, what is the kind of the post-race kind of rituals and things that you do?
It's lovely to race in Cape Town because it's so cold in the Atlantic. It's just the absolute best to go and have, it's like an ice bath. What is an ice bath? And to go swim, like after the UTCT 35, my sister took me, we went swimming together. I felt like I was tripping. I think she was quite confused. You just run so fast, and you've come from the mountains and the depth of your being. It's like if you raced and you're pushing in the race and you finish, and then you kind of like in the normal world. I think doing something like swimming is very powerful. It like brings you back into calm almost. The ocean or the swimming pool or the shower even, it can like bring you peace and say like, almost like a curtain or a doorway back into the normal life. Even like here we're sitting on the chairs, it can feel different to the mountains and almost like a transition back. And you've been talking either with yourself or with the mountain or with another runner, and then now we're talking with each other. Yeah, almost like just to allow the transition to happen. Yeah, maybe eat some food.
I think we get so caught up in that, that the transition doesn't happen, get so caught up in that, like in that vibe.
But I think that's also amazing. It's super fun, to just like feel it, And I think what's an amazing lesson is to bring us back to presence on the mountain, on the run. In that halfway point, you just feel it. So when you're at home, you're not stuck that you're at home. You felt everything you needed to feel.
Yeah.
Even like with our relationships, it's like saying goodbye. You just say everything in every moment, and when you say goodbye, you might as well even be like a dog in a park. You just walk away from each other, nothing unsaid.
No.
Everything was in the moment, and now it's over.
Yeah. You've sniffed all the butts.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you could go like anywhere in the world, no time limit, no distance limit, like either something you've done before or something you still want to do, is there kind of that bucket list?
Nat and I even spoke about it. I don't think we'll do it, but to run in the Sahara.
Oh wow!
A deep desert run. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for years, with all the different ways you can do it, but deep nature runs. So like I'd literally love to run from Egypt to Morocco. Maybe getting a drone to bring 5 liters of water and some Prenutra every day. But I can feel it'll happen. I can feel, for me, like surfing was competitive on the WSL, and then there's free surfers all around for running too, and it's happening already. Free running, and you can, for me that's what I feel. Slowly will open. So running through the Amazon and running across entire mountain ranges. I mean, recently we've been speaking about running from the north to the south of New Zealand.
Sure.
Yeah, so all over the world actually.
And would that be obviously self-supported? Wouldn't be like as part of a race or anything like that?
I don't know.
whatever's available.
How it happens, hey. Yeah. I think what can be very powerful is to run not self-supported, so no backpack, you're running light. And then that drone concept, it's like the drone supports you, I guess, or friends in a motorbike or whatever it is. I think it'll unfold. If someone, like we have this amazing friend who comes with on all our cycle tours. Once we were about to start a cycle tour, there were like 22 of us who were going to go with our friends, like Hyundai i10 through the mountains with all our stuff in. And we're like kind of wanting the impossible. And then one of us went down to the beach and met an old friend, Rich. And he was like, I wish I could come with you, but I don't like cycling. I just love driving my bucky. Yeah. And now he's been on all our cycle tours. And, that stuff just aligns. Someone who wants to be there but not run will come. Yeah. And like hand you your lunch bar.
Put it out there.
And it's filling their soul.
Looking back, I mean, obviously you've experienced this kind of stuff naturally and you've always experienced it, but has there been any advice that you've gotten that you've kind of taken on board that has changed that concept of joy for you?
For sure. I think like we speak, like let's say the last cycle tour we're doing, I think we did a few meditations, and some really wise people put their meditations on Spotify. It's a man called Muji. Listen to some Muji, and he just takes you into remembering that we are, like actually remembering the experience of being everything and then coming to our point of consciousness. That's huge. And remember how easy it is to remember that we are everything. That's pretty crazy, yeah.
Being, kind of so, I guess, self-assured and knowing what you want to get out of life, do you find it quite difficult to take on advice?
Probably. Yeah, I definitely, from people. I think it's something I can learn, but I think when the mountain talk, if you spend hours with the mountain and the ocean and nature, it accesses you at the deepest point. So then for sure I have I don't know what it is, like a little block to when people say stuff. It's like, no, but you just say that from your ego. When it's not true, because it's also the whole of the universe is speaking to you through them in that moment. It's just that your ego is meeting them. That's how I understand it, yeah. I don't really know what will unfold, but I guess slowly just being open to everything, not only the mountain's teachings, also everything's teachings, yeah.
I love that idea of like needing help or needing, something, and it's like going into the mountains to kind of like figure that out. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it always has it, hey.
What is kind of the most rewarding part of all of this for you? What is that one thing that just keeps it so rewarding? And I guess not only in the running, but in the art and the adventures. Was it just a natural? You couldn't live without it.
When we understand that it's a choice to be alive, it can be super hard to constantly choose to be alive, because it's in some ways really nice to not be alive and not struggle, but I'm not that interested in all these understandings that it's so difficult to be here. I feel like in the moments of joy and bliss in the mountains, we haven't come here to struggle. And I guess maybe that's what brings me back, is after a long, hard run in the mountains or a short, hard run in the mountains, I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be here. And like, I'm so happy for all the hard things, because they don't, it's almost like they don't feel hard. They just feel like blessings. And I think to do things in our life that allows us to see every part of our life as a blessing, it's magic.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. Focusing on resilience, mental resilience, physical resilience, how do you feel like you've built that up, and what advice would you give someone about that?
I think Dina I was born like very tenacious. So there's massive positive outcomes of having this wild tenaciousness, no matter as an inherent thing. So you can run far and all of that. But I guess it's to know that everything has we all have our blessings. Like for me, like part of being tenacious also maybe means I'm stubborn. It's a feeling, and you can get into you feel it in your brain, almost like a big cog turning. And when you reach it, you feel like you can do anything, and you will do it and take every step. And I guess it's to learn what that feeling is, and then learn how to stay in that feeling, like an expanded feeling, it doesn't make you feel smaller, it makes you feel bigger, and it makes everyone around you feel bigger. It empowers everyone around you, and we are resilient together, and we're resilient because of each other. And it's a feeling, so we can feel it and then plug it in.
Do you have like low moments in kind of those big runs, particularly, when you're kind of hurting, when the pain cave?
Yeah, lots, Dean.
Yeah. And do you just feed off that, or is there a way to kind of, as you say, bring it back?
It's that exactly like the resilience. Yeah, when I was a child, when I was younger, those low moments came and it would light me up. And for a few years, I lost that, but I feel like I have it again now. And it's this crazy thing. Like you have a low moment and you think, my God, this is hard. And then almost through no thought, just through allowing it to happen, for me, this massive rush of energy comes. Just, you are amazing because you can do this. You are amazing because you feel this challenge. And that energy is huge. And very interestingly, Dean, I only get that when I eat meat.
Yeah.
When I get low down 2 hours into a run, if I eat vegan, it never comes back. But if I'm eating meat, it's like this, the primal part inside me, like this inner, I don't know, elephant, whatever, the inner me that's like alive and in a body. My body just lights up and through the pain, because of the difficulty, the fire ignite. And for me, I realized the fire wasn't burning for the first 2 hours, and then it's burning, and it's a crazy feeling. Yeah.
That's powerful.
And for me, it's the blessings of, the animals that we eat. They spent their life hopefully peacefully eating grass, so we can eat them and feel that energy, like that solid energy. Like you know that you're a being of light, but you're in a body, and your whole being is expressing through your body, through your muscles and through your breathing, and it can come through those dark patches. Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask about the sock.
Yes.
So, at the beginning, I asked you about those 2 words.
Yeah.
What would the 2 words be on your sock?
I think I would request 3, and I would say life is mountain.
I love that.
And it comes from a cycle. We were in the middle of Tanzania, and this big truck drove past us on a pass, and it just said, life is mountain. And we just got us, because we're like, my God, life is mountain. It's not super creative, but that's what I would like on my socks.
Amazing. Thank you very much. This was incredible, as always. So blown away by your insights. So thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
Really appreciate you taking the time.
Sure, man. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, to listen to that stuff. Thanks, Dean, for facilitating that for all of us to share and to listen. It's amazing. Thank you.